What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 37 of the FlipScreen Games Podcast, a weekly video game podcast where two, sometimes three, best buds from different nations come together to discuss the wide world of video games. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined, as always, by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time on this show, sierraplusultra.
What's up?
Welcome back, Sierra. You just got back from a tour. You're like living that hot rock star lifestyle. Glad that you could give us a little bit of your time to come and talk video games.
Anytime for y'all. Anytime and all the time.
Well, I am really glad we have you on this one because we are going to be talking about two things, and one of which I'd say you're a bona fide expert on. Of course, that is Digimon. We're talking about Digimon Survive, which is actually finally coming out, allegedly. We're going to talk all about it. And then I think somehow even more surprising than that, we got a trailer for one Kingdom Hearts 4. So, look forward to that when I'm 40 years old. But we're going to talk all about it, in addition to a couple other things on this week's episode of the FlipScreen Games Podcast. Speaking of which, let me remind you that this week's episode of the FlipScreen Games Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of April. They are, of course, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Valenz, Gabriel Hasselmeyer, a.k.a. Asobi, Mary Berry, Smilky Shake, Wakahula, and Zaid Ida. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/FlipScreenGames. Y'all are the reals to the real, and we appreciate your support of this fine program. Speaking of support, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. If you do go and back us over on that Patreon at any level, you'll get access to our Patreon exclusive show, One More Thing. I'm not going to lie to you. We've recorded like 3 of those in a week because I'm going on vacation. I don't remember what we talked about, but they were all bangers, and I stand by that. So if you want to go show your support and get some extra content in your feed, get your name read on the air, or a bunch of other perks and goodies, go head over to the Patreon. But if you don't have any money to throw our way, no problem. There's a bunch of ways you can get involved with the show. Head over to flipscreen.games. That's our website. You can find links to our email address where you can write in and be a part of the show. Come join our Discord where you can do the same thing, or come check out our Twitch channel where we're streaming most days of the week now, and we're always playing something. So whatever your tastes, I imagine we're playing a game that you will enjoy us watching. At the very least, you can watch one of us eat shit in Elden Ring. I'll let you figure out which one it is if you go tune in. So let's jump into what we're playing this week. I want to start because I feel like I haven't done anything in this segment in weeks, and it's an easy one for me. I'm platinuming Horizon Forbidden West. This is something
brag. That's what it is.
Yeah, I want to brag a little bit.
I come out here and brag.
Just a little bit. I never platinumed the original Horizon. I think it was not a great platinum, and there were some things about it I really just I struggled to get done and was like, I don't want to do this, and I bailed out on it. With this game, I toyed with the idea, and I was kind of telling myself I want to just play as much of the side content as I want to play, and when I'm done, I'll roll credits and I'll just be done, right? Rather than I'll finish and then I'll go do post-game stuff. I always fall off games as soon as I do that, right? Once you roll credits, I'm kind of emotionally over it usually, and it's like I'm ready to move on.
That was it. When you saw KK Slider, it's just like, I'm done.
I'm done. I beat the game. I beat Animal Crossing.
I defeated Tom Nook.
I defeated him. I beat capitalism, everybody. I moved to an island. It's great. I figured it out. But with this game, the more I was playing the side quests and everything, I was just getting deeper and deeper into everything. So I was like, I might as well check these last couple boxes. As of recording, I have one cauldron left to do, and then the last mission of the game, and I will have I'm done. I'm wrapped up. So I'm gonna beat the game and get the platinum at the same time, and I'm feeling fucking good about that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That is really impressive. I have zero desire to do any of that. But those side quests, the ones labeled side quests, I know we've spoken about it in that game, are phenomenal. So I can understand getting in deep with those. The stuff like it's the hunting grounds things, I just have no desire to do any of them. I find them so boring.
So what ended up working out for me with those is any of those kinds of things that I was like, I don't really care to do this. They were easy enough to the thing you had to do to achieve the platinum was easy enough. And there was like a week or so last week where I was like doing a bunch of stuff with my band and like I was busy, and like I didn't have the time to sit and play the game long enough to do the last mission, but I wanted to play. So I was like, oh, I'll go to do these side things for like a half hour before bed or whatever and like wind down and knock out a couple of the hunting grounds and then come back and wrap it up. So it just kind of like happened, it just made sense, and I was able to get around the stuff I didn't really feel like doing in ways that felt like bite-sized enough that like it worked for me. So yeah, I'm trying to finish it up tonight, and then I'll be good to go. And I'll clean slate for my vacation. I'll come back and I guess I'll start playing Elden Ring again. I don't know. But
I hope you pick Elden Ring up again. I really do, because everyone wants to see you play a lot more of that game. You've at least got to go do Godric. Like, you finished Margit, then you went and did some grinding a little bit. You went and got
I want to
that
beat the
second
game.
katana sword that you wanted. Now you got to go back and you got to do Godric. I haven't been in the game like 70 hours in, and I needed a break for a little bit.
I think I mentioned this on one of the shows. I've been thinking about doing like a thing on Sunday mornings where I'm just going to be like Soulsborne Sunday, just like stream it for a couple hours, like wake up and stream it and be like, it's the middle of the day for you British folks. I'm going to do this for you. Let's go. For all the Europeans. And when the Americans wake up, they can, watch me eat shit with breakfast. So yeah, we'll see. But, like, on the note of platinuming, I did want to ask, like, have either of you ever 100%ed a game? Have you ever, like, had the drive to do that?
No.
Nope.
I didn't think so, because I knew that Steve barely even finishes games. So, I know
I
he's
just
not
don't
trying
see
to
the
play
point.
like that.
I've really never seen the point. I've never got into a game enough where I'm just like, I'll do all of these shitty little things that I don't like doing, and I'll mop up all of these messes just so I can get a little picture on my profile.
I don't know why I do it. It's like I do it like with like maybe one game a year at least, where it's like, okay, this is the one. It's like
That makes sense.
I really like this game, and I'm gonna do everything.
Do you only do it on PlayStation? Is it because of those platinum trophies? Would you do it on a Nintendo game? Would you do it on Xbox?
I feel encouraged to do it on PlayStation because of that. Because it's like there's an achievable thing. Whereas like for like when I was primarily an Xbox player during the 360 generation, I was really into achievements, but I didn't really care about like getting every achievement in a game necessarily. Like if I wanted to, I would. I did that for a couple games. Like I remember I did that with like Assassin's Creed 2 and BioShock and things like that, for example, because I did, and I felt like it. But I was playing games in such a different way then. It would be like, this is the game I'm playing right now, and I'll play the shit out of it. And then when I'm sick of it, I'll move on to the next one. And I don't know, like I wasn't making content and things like that, right? So it was just kind of like whatever was the next game that my friends were like, oh, you should try this game. Or I had read about it on IGN or something. And I was like, all right, great. Whereas now I'm like way more methodical about it. So like when I do end up platinuming a game, it's usually like, oh yeah, it's the Sony first party game that came out this year that I really liked and I wanted to get more time with it. So I did it. But I did that with Arceus too, right? Like I was trying to, I haven't finished it yet, but I think I still will, to like 100% all of the Dex entries. You
doing what Chewie's doing with the 100% shiny decks?
No, I'm not doing that. I thought about doing that at one point, but I can't do that now.
Yeah, Chewie's doing 100% shiny decks. He's been doing it over on Twitch. And he's just hunting a shiny of every single one in the decks. It's gonna take him forever.
God bless him. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll do that, but not now. Not now. It would have to be like for Twitch or something. Like it would have to be a thing that I was like I had a reason to keep coming back and doing it because
right.
I just have that problem with games in general where like I want to get through a thing and move on to the next thing,
Same reason why I've never won 100% something. You'd think I would have done it as a kid because I had a little more time at my disposal, and now it's it's very it's literally never happened for me, and me considering it is very rare for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like you've said, Sierra, that like most of the time that you have to game is like on stream, right? So it's like,
yep,
you only have so many hours in a week to play games. You want to try new stuff, and
exactly. And then like there's certain games that people like to come back for, so I can't just like swap them out, And
Yeah.
I enjoy playing them too. It's for me too. But yeah, it's not as easy for me to just kind of do whatever.
So
I get it, like, because I've been streaming a lot more, and like, there's games that people have voted for me to play and wanted to see me play. I'm not necessarily into that game at that moment. Like, it's a game I enjoy, but I wouldn't have picked it myself, right?
yeah.
Right.
I would have probably gone, oh, I really just want to relax with this tonight, but everyone wants to see me progress in Elden Ring, so I'm going to go and do that instead. And it's fine, like, I still have a good time, don't get me wrong, but there's something about just that like choice that you have when you're not making content and when you're not streaming that you don't get if people are tuning in to watch you play something.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with like Horizon. It's so funny is like people have wanted to get me to play more Elden Ring, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. I just want to go check boxes in Horizon. That's what I feel like doing right now, just running around and doing whatever catches my attention, I'm having fun just existing in that world, but I think I'm ready to wind down because I don't want to go away for a week and then come back, right? So it's like, cool. Like, let's just be done and put this one on the shelf.
Right.
But speaking of being away, Sierra, I know you wanted to talk about some of the games you played on tour. How did you find that? Were you like, did you have a lot of time with your Switch, or was it like you and your bandmates playing games together, or?
Yeah, it was mostly, actually, I spent more time gaming multiplayer with my bandmates and our friends in the touring bands than I did gaming on my own. Like, I did play games, not as much as I anticipated. A lot of the time, I actually just stared out at the window, and it was very cathartic for my brain. But
I get that. Yeah.
no thoughts had empty time. Great. But what I did was before tour, I loaded up my 2DS with a bunch of games that I might want to play while I'm away. And then I also the Switch that I brought on tour was the one that had the cartridge reader break. So now I came home, now I have the OLED, but on tour, I was only able to play select games that for whatever reason could be read by the cartridge reader.
Such a weird thing that happened where it was just randomly
Yeah.
reading like some games and others were just like, nope.
Yeah, so weird. And I'm very impatient. So I was like, I kind of just got the OLED before, like I put that order in before I left, and I was like, all right, if I want to fix the other one, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But it allowed me to play Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Cyber Sleuth, Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. So on my Switch, I played a lot of Hacker's Memory. That game is a very grindy Digimon RPG, but it's an RPG, so I'm like, yeah, that's my shit. So that was great to play. To have that time in the van dedicated to just being cemented to the inside of a car. You have to get from point A to point B as soon as you can.
A good
Can't
grindy
really make any
JRPG
detours.
is like perfect for that. Like long stretches like that.
Yeah, exactly. So played that. I also played Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I picked that up from the 3DS
Nice.
shop, and it felt so good to play that game again. I
That's
hadn't played it since I
The
was a
Game Boy
kid.
Color one, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I love that game. I have that on my 3DS
so
too.
good. The furthest I got was to the Elite Four. I got to Koga, and then I never picked it back up. But that was just so much. It's just so good to play, just like a nice little repetitive puzzle game like that. It's really fun.
Yeah, I really love that game. It's got a good art style too.
Yeah, it does. I love it.
Though I love the little like the little like character icon you have of whatever Pokemon is with you, and they're like reacting like as you get combos and stuff. It's like very cute.
For sure. So cool.
And then
I don't know what it is. What do you do in Pokemon Puzzle Challenge?
it's like it's a standard like puzzle like color matcher kind of thing where it's like I don't remember how many colors there are.
Or like Bejeweled kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a lot like that where it's like, there's like maybe 4 or 5 colors and each one has a shape and anytime you get a what is it? It's a match of 3, right, Sierra?
Yep, minimum of 3. I don't know what the max is, but the most that I was able to get was 5. Because if you the second you swapped 2 blocks, even if it was like 2, like if it identified it like as like a match, it like immediately like made the hit. So like I don't know how far it can go.
I think you can
but
chain blocks like the way you can in Tetris, kind of, where like if you
that's right.
like, because I remember that being a thing where it would be like you get the multiplier off and then like they have the little icon of like the other person you're battling and like their eyes bulge
Right.
out and stuff, and like I remember that. I don't remember what exactly the max or minimum would be on any of that junk, but I do remember that like I would have some really lucky rolls like that sometimes because I was certainly not very good at it when I was a kid. But
Hey,
yeah, oh my gosh, I love that game.
me too.
About to bust out my 3DS.
I've just been looking into it. Apparently, it's riff on Puzzle League, which is also known as Tetris Attack in North America, which is another game I've never heard of.
I've never
but
played
it just
Tetris
looks like a
Attack.
Pokemon branded version of Tetris Attack. So I guess if they've taken specific rules from Tetris, it would make sense that you can do some of that, like switching around stuff
Yeah.
that you can do in Tetris.
Yeah.
Great game though.
hmm
So and then you said when you came back, you've been getting back into Animal Crossing, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I was like, all right, I got the OLED. I can play all my games again. So in Animal Crossing, I'm trying to pick back up on some builds that I started on my island. So there's one that's kind of like a temple with a Zen garden on the bottom floor.
Nice.
And then there's another one that's like a marketplace type thing. And there is like this one specific piece of furniture that I need to get. You can get it through playing Happy Home Paradise, but you can only get it through like 5 or 6 specific villagers that I have not seen spawn on the DLC island. So yeah, so it's a very elusive item. It's called the storefront. And like I've been trying to just play often or like check often because like there's always that chance like you'll roll the right person, but no luck so far. But like every day is different. I either like sign in, do my dailies, get off, or like I'll clock like a couple hours and just get lost in it.
You should go jump in. I mean, you could try the Animal Crossing channel in our server, but you should go jump in Chewy's server and be like, "Who has this? Somebody has this in that server."
You're absolutely right.
Somebody will give it
Honestly,
to
I
you.
just cut out the middleman.
Right? Like if it's taken this long, right? Like it's like, or if you hit a point where you're done waiting, right? Somebody in the Haken Discord will hook you up. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Those
Chewy will
folks are
have
nice.
this. I bet Chewy has this. If you message him after we're done with
Yeah.
this, I bet he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got tons of those." I'll send
Which
you
color
some."
do you
And they're
want?
like, yeah. Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, good stuff.
So how are you liking the
How are you
OLED?
getting on? I'm so literally just about to ask that. Like, how?
So, I'm trying, as I mentioned, just trying to play more Animal Crossing more to not only get back into the game, but enjoy the handheld like OLED experience. The screen, ooh, I was blown away actually when I was transferring everything and like looking at the stark difference between my original Switch and the OLED. It's really nice.
The other day, I was over at my friend M's house and we were hanging out with our friend Laura and they had their Switch out and I was like, the screen looks so small. Like I don't remember feeling that way about it, but now that I'm used to like the smaller bevel, I was like, Jesus, this bevel's like an inch. Why is it so big?
Yeah.
So much screen
know.
real estate you're missing.
Right? Yeah. It's so good. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't identified like any other perks about the OLED yet that I think
that's-
stand out to me.
That's I mean
But
that
yeah,
and
I think that was the point.
kickstand.
the
Right?
kickstand also kicks ass. That is a huge
Right.
improvement. I'll give it that for sure.
Yeah,
And
I
have you
just-
noticed the speakers are any better? That was meant to be the other big feature. Was the
They are.
speakers? were meant to
Yeah,
sound
I
better.
noticed they were bigger, but I am a person that has really bad ears, so it kind of doesn't. I don't know. It was just kind of like, okay, great, it's loud, but like that's all. That's all I could really.
I can hear it, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, if I can hear it, that means it's working, right? I don't know. So, Yeah, like there are definitely like really great things about the OLED, but like I wanted so badly to just hold out for whatever the hell they're gonna drop
Yeah.
next year, which I really think all signs are pointing to like Q1, Q2. But I'm glad I at least got to own one.
Yeah, I think it's a nice upgrade. I think it's like a
Mhm.
worthwhile change, but I wouldn't tell someone to go out of their way to do it. But like in a situation like what
Right.
happened to you, where it's like, okay, well I can pay to get this one fixed, or I can spend a little bit more and get like a nicer version. It's like, that's probably worth
Yeah,
doing. You know,
exactly.
I couldn't resist. I get FOMO with that
Mhm.
stuff. I was like, I don't need it, and then I was like, well, but I
Oh
want
yeah,
it.
It makes
you
sense
definitely
though.
get FOMO. This week has definitely proved you get FOMO, Pete. That's for
Steve,
sure.
I didn't even put it in the doc. We have to bring it up. So, okay, so Steve, this week, you played a bunch of games on the Steam Deck, which we're going to talk about. But I'm getting a Steam Deck, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mango from the community threw it up in our Discord a week or so ago of like, hey, I've got this pre-order. It was for the model that I wanted. I I don't have the funds for it. I'm either going to cancel it or give it to somebody. If anybody wants it, let me know. And we had just had our episode, whatever, I think it was 35 or 36, where we talked about you getting it. And I was like, well, I kind of think I want one now. I went and put in my pre-order on the show while we were recording. And, I'm jumping the line, baby. I'm getting it. And Mango got
Jump
the
the line
email
big time.
today. They got it today. So probably right after this recording, we're gonna coordinate everything. I'm gonna get it sent to my dad's house while I'm on vacation, and I'm coming home to a
Nice.
Steam Deck. Everybody, all right? It's gonna be sick.
That's what you think. Your dad will have opened that box. He'll be playing,
He's playing Red Dead
I don't
Redemption
know.
on it
Yeah,
already.
he's playing Red Dead Redemption on it. What games would your dad be into? I know he doesn't play video games, but what games do you think he would get
My
into? Would it be like
dad,
sports games?
I feel like my dad had a real shot at being a gamer. Like he was this close. When I was a kid and I had my PlayStation, there were a few games he got very into, and one of them was Gex 2, Enter the Gecko. He loved that game, and I remember there was a point where my PlayStation was in his bedroom because when I was awake and wanted to play, he would just watch whatever I was gonna play, and then when I went to bed, he would play Gex.
Oh
And
my
he had to
God.
stop when he beat it because he was like, I was staying up all night and playing this fucking game and going crazy. And he used to play Crash Team Racing with me all the time and stuff like that. So he definitely he had a little bit of it, but I think trying to get him to play Red Dead would be tough. But that is the game I think he would love because he loves westerns. He's very into the West. He's read so many books. I genuinely think my dad is probably like a minor expert in the American West, and just has dove in a crazy deep amount. So I think he would really enjoy that game and get lost in it if I could. I want to bring him my Xbox 360 and be like, here you go.
Yeah, let him have the first one. Be like, here's Red Dead 1, Revolver and Redemption.
And if he
Have
likes
fun.
it, I'll bring him the PlayStation 4 with 2. But anyway, so I'll have some thoughts on the Steam Deck in a couple weeks. Everybody get hyped. But you, Steve, you've been playing games on yours. Talk about it.
I have, yeah. So I've been playing a bunch of Far Cry 6, but I'll talk a little bit more about that on next week's episode. I most of my time's been spent in like emulated games, so I installed EmuDeck on it as I spoke about last week, and I've been trying like a bunch of games out. The two that I've really kind of, well, I guess there's three that I've honed in on that I've like tweaked all the settings to make it look as good as possible. Simpsons Hit and Run, which I managed to get working in like 16 by 9 and like running at native resolution at 60 frames a second. It looks so good. I loved that game when
You
I
got
was
to
a
give me
kid.
those settings. I'm trying to play it now that I'm a new Simpsons fan. So
I forgot how many references, like deep cuts, there are in that game to like Simpsons episodes, like all the outfits you can buy for Homer and stuff. There's like the ones where, have you got to the time where he joins that like secret cult and then like he gets the new number for 911 and
no.
stuff? There's like that one. There's the like outfit where he gets so fat so he doesn't have to go to work and they let him work from home so he can like, and then he doesn't even want to do that, so he gets like one of the those things with like water in the bottom that like just
The bird,
go
the
like
drinking
that?
bird.
The
Yeah, I
bird.
remember that.
He's
Yeah.
got that just pressing the button on his keyboard, so he doesn't have to do anything. It just like refreshes all day long. So there's like all of those deep cuts in that game, which I'm having a good time with. And then I've been playing a bunch of Wind Waker HD, which works phenomenally well. It's so good. The Wii U emulator is amazing, and I'm gonna be putting a video together of all of the Zelda games. I'm probably gonna do all the 3D ones because the 2D ones will obviously they'll run on a potato. But the 3D ones I want to show off and like see if I can get the 3DS versions of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask working with the like up-resed graphics, like the full free roam camera and stuff, and all the additional features that they put into those games. And also Breath of the Wild apparently runs at 60 frames per second on this thing, and I want to try that out as well.
Steve, my favorite thing about having a friend like you is being able to benefit from your natural curiosity, because you'll go and do all this legwork and be like, I got all these settings, and I'll be like, great, give them to me and I'll play the game.
Yeah, so it's been good fun with those, and then Persona 5. I managed to get Persona 5 also working at 60 frames.
So
a
what's
second
up?
on here.
Are you playing it though? Like, are you playing it?
I'm not playing it because I want to focus on that game. So I want to get Elden Ring out of the way, and then I want that to be my next big game.
I really want you to play Royal. Is there a way to get Royal on it?
Not currently, no. Royal's a PS4 game.
And there's no way to make that happen.
No, there's no PS4 emulator.
Fucking
Unless Atlas are just like, here's a PC port. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But they brought Persona 4 Golden, so maybe 5 Royal will come at some point.
I hope so.
I'm not holding my breath on it, though. It's been years, and we've seen nothing. And
I mean, just play it, right? Like, that's fine. But Royal's so good. It's so much better. I wish it was more accessible.
And then I also wanted to try out some different like inputs, right? So all of those games are focused on they're all designed with controllers in mind. And I have a bunch of games in my Steam library that I've had for years, and I wanted to try some of them to see that are more focused on keyboard and mouse, like an RTS. So I installed Age of Empires 2, which is marked as incompatible, but you can make it work if you use Proton Experimental. It will run just fine.
So Proton Experimental is what, like a third-party thing that lets you play games on Steam Deck, or?
No, so there's Proton. So there's all the different versions, stable versions of Proton, and you can force the game to run in one of those versions of Proton. And then there's the experimental version, which is like the beta version. It's possibly got some bugs. It might have some regressions from the stable versions of Proton. But if you can't get your game working on any of those versions of Proton, try experimental. If you can't get it working on that, there's something called Proton GE, which stands for Proton, I think it's Glorious Egg Roll. And it's like a community version of Proton, which has a bunch of things that Valve can include in their version of Proton. It's things that violate Windows patents. So it's in that community version that you can install, and it fixes a bunch of games. Persona 4 Golden works with Proton GE if you want to play it on Steam
good,
Deck.
because I would really want to play that there.
Yeah, so you can install Proton GE in the desktop mode. Now I might make a video about that as well, because there was a bunch of people asking how I got Far Cry working on there as well when I put the footage up last week. So I've been trying Age of Empires out. I've got a community layout that someone uploaded. It works so well with so you use like the joystick is mapped to the WASD buttons, so I can like move and pan around the screen. The right trackpad is like just a cursor all over the screen, and then the left trackpad is just down in the bottom left where all the buttons are, so you get like real fine control, just like proper granular control. And like someone's just created this layout for all the controls, just uploaded it to Steam. You can download it. It works so well. So if you're interested in like real-time strategy games and stuff, the Steam Deck is so capable of it. I've like won like 3 or 4 matches of Age of Empires on there now. It's amazing.
That's cool. That was one of the things that I remember that you told me about, Steve. That was like one of the tipping points for me, was that there's the whole community angle of like people creating control schemes for the Steam Deck, and you can just download them. And like, again, right, like taking the PC gaming out of PC gaming, where it's like, I don't want to figure that shit out, but somebody else does and will. And I can benefit, and that's awesome that they've streamlined that as much as they have,
Yeah, I think there's even in the desktop version of Steam, and I think it's coming to like the Steam OS game mode, profiles for game settings as well. So eventually you'll be able to download like a Steam Deck settings that someone's made in the community, uploaded it, and it'll be perfect. So it'll be like, this is a 30 frames per second mode, this is a 60 frames per second mode, this is, and like you don't have to then go in and tweak all the settings yourself. You just download the scheme and it will apply all the settings for you. Like all of that stuff really does take all of the fiddling out of it if people don't want to do that, and just makes it so much more accessible, which is great.
Yeah, I love that. I can't wait to get my hands on mine.
Download all those schemes.
Yeah, right. So, speaking of things that I'm pretty eager to get my hands on, we're gonna be talking about Digimon Survive. All right, it's coming out. It's coming out on July 29th. Sierra, I see you ready to erupt. Let's get a hype check. Where are we at?
Finally. Dude, I was looking back at like in my Facebook memories of like it's so funny that this serendipitously like appeared in my notifications. I started posting about how excited I was for this game in 2018. That is how long it has taken. And it's saying like it's funny because like they did actually show concept art that does reflect some of the elements you see in the current trailers and whatnot. I think I really loved the Survive. Well, I haven't played the other one yet, but I really love like Cyber Sleuth. I like, you know, the whole RPG element of Digimon. They've always done it well, I think. It's just not as like sparkly or interesting as Pokemon, because Pokemon just always nailed the marketing, right? Like that was, you know, their leg up on the competition. So which I would argue they are not comparable, but I digress.
They're so different. Yeah, I feel like the comparison between them has always been a little overblown. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Everyone that knows Digimon says that. I've always just thought that Digimon was a poor man's Pokemon, just like a terrible ripoff. And that's the view I always had of it when I was a kid. It was just like, oh, no, I don't want to play Digimon. This is a crappy version of Pokemon.
it's
just
Go ahead.
sorry. It's just so unfortunate. It also ends in Mon. I think that was that was the first thing that people really honed in on.
Yep. Yeah, it made it an immediate thing for like kids, right? To be like one's Coke, one's Pepsi, right? Like that's what it has to be. And it's just like they're really not similar, right? And it's like I like both a lot, and like I also really loved Monster Rancher, like which is another very similar thing. But it's like, hey man, they all got their own flavor, right? Like Digimon can talk. They're sentient beings that
it kind of also got like Persona vibes too.
This does. I'm showing the trailer right now.
Yeah.
This
like real
teaser
Persona vibes
really looks like a Persona game, or like maybe more accurate is like Fire Emblem.
Shin Megami Tensei.
Well,
Right.
yeah, sure.
Fire Emblem.
But it's like it looks like it
strategy
has the
RPG.
like dialogue, maybe a little bit of the social sim stuff. It's a tactical RPG, so like that, you know, also has the Fire Emblem comparison, of course. I don't know. I feel like this looks really good. Like I
agree.
I want to see more of it, and like I'm a little bit maybe cautious is the word. Like the fact that like we haven't seen like that this isn't more oriented on like some of the gameplay and stuff, because I know there's been so many iterations here, right? That going back and looking at some of the older trailers is maybe not going to be representative of stuff.
Well, was it
Right.
Chewy or was it you, Sierra, talking about how they basically said it was they had like a Metroid Prime 4 situation,
Kind of like a restart in
right?
development, right?
Yep.
And it got a restart with a different developer. So I can imagine this is a totally different game
Right.
from what they initially showed years ago.
So what the
Yeah. I will
timeline? Oh no, go ahead, Sierra. Go.
No, sorry. I will say that I didn't realize it was being advertised as a strategy RPG. I thought that was like a new thing due to the change in developers, but that actually is in the marketing copy.
Copy.
That is in the marketing copy.
The marketing copy.
Sounds like a fucking Mickey Mouse thing. Oh my god. So
Oh, boy.
that is that That was really good.
Have you got your Mickey nails? Did you do it?
No, it's mono black.
Oh, okay.
That was in the copy from like years ago for like the game and stuff. So, yeah, like I don't know. We'll see. I'm so used to Digimon games being RPGs, but I'm gonna give it a chance because I've never played a strategy RPG. Really,
Have you never played any of them? Like
No.
not played like a Fire Emblem or Advance Wars or anything like that?
No.
I think
Wow,
you'll
okay.
get on with it fine because
What about
like
Mario Rabbids? Did you play that?
No.
Okay.
how many more are you gonna list off? XCOM?
XCOM?
Really? None? Never?
It blows my mind because it's such like a popular genre, and it feels like because Pokemon had one of these as well, right? Pokemon Tactics,
It's not tactics. It's the
whatever it's called.
What the fuck is it?
Conquest or
Chewie's screaming
yeah,
in the
Pokemon
void somewhere.
Conquest. Yeah, on
Conquest,
the
thank you.
DS. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's played that game though. Like that's not, like that's like I haven't even played that game.
Well, Fire Emblem Tactics. I don't know. I was thinking of games that Sierra might have played.
Fire
Right,
Emblem Tactics
okay.
doesn't exist. You're thinking of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy. What about Animal Crossing Tactics, where you gotta like all battle Tom Nook? Like,
I play that. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I think you'll get on with it fine. Like it's different than
Okay.
like a turn-based RPG, but I don't think it's that different. It's just like there's the added element of like map awareness where it'll be like
you've got turns, right? Because it's
Yeah,
usually
it's still
your go,
turn-based.
you move everything, then the enemy goes. I prefer them.
it's literally
So-
just like you have the addition of like moving around the board. Other than that, it's like it's gonna. I'm sure it'll be very similar in terms of like execution of combat phase and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
I like them a lot. I think tactical RPGs are a lot of fun.
Especially when you get like you go, oh, I want one. I would imagine you'll like train up a Digimon to be ranged attack, or like go up close with melee. You probably have one that's like a healer.
I'm guessing that. I mean, the impression that I'm getting from looking at the trailer is that like it looks like it's a group of DigiDestined, right? And like each of them has their own partner Digimon, and then there's like the two that are the bad guys or whatever. It seems like I would imagine that the crew of kids are the characters that you control all of their Digimon at the same time would be my
Right.
guess,
And what's crazy is people can die. They made that very clear. Like your decisions in the game, which apparently is heavily text based. It's a lot. It's very dialogue heavy apparently. But yeah, like your decisions that you make, with character interactions and battles, like can determine several different outcomes of the plot.
I
in the
love that.
game.
That's great. They're like they really were just like Fire Emblem, but make a Digimon, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Nintendo
They
not
have
giving
that
me a
mode.
Fire Emblem game this year that I actually want to play, so that's great. I'll play this one.
Well, they
Yeah.
have that mode in Fire Emblem Three Houses, don't they, where you can make it so if they die forever. Is that the case in Digimon Survive? Do you know, Sierra? Like, if a character dies, are they gone for good, or do they like just die in the battle and they come back?
No, that's what she was just saying. Yeah, like it'll impact.
I
the
haven't
story.
heard differently. I've heard they die.
Wow.
Definitively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, is it the Digimon or the person? That's what I'm really wondering.
Great question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. That's it. That makes me interested. But I did want to just comment on this for the timeline of this thing because it's really crazy, right? So this game was announced for the 20th anniversary of Digimon in 2018. It was supposed to come out in 2019. It has been delayed 4 times since then. 2020, 2021, 2022. Insane.
I mean, they did have a pandemic to deal with, and
they
also
restarted
changed
it. Yeah.
developers. Yeah.
I just feel like this game is like
Yeah.
plagued, and then now, right? You have
Now
them-
it's at the same day.
the same day as Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like, come on. They can't
Straight
get
up
your break
evil.
over here with Digimon Survive.
To be fair, though, they're on like 4 other platforms. So if you don't have a Nintendo console, you may
That's
pick
true.
up Digimon on that instead.
I'll tell you what, I am the host of popular Nintendo podcast, Nintendo Nights. I'm not fucking playing Xenoblade. Fuck that. I'm playing Digimon. You kidding me? That's what I'm buying.
But what are you gonna play it on? Are you gonna play it on?
I would play it on my
Are you
Steam
gonna play it
Deck.
on Steam Deck?
I
Yeah,
might.
I thought you would.
If it runs
Ooh,
better on
yeah.
Steam Deck, I might.
Of course,
right?
it's gonna run better on Steam Deck.
Yeah, I was
it'll-
gonna say.
Why not?
I hate to admit it, but it's gonna run fantastically.
Which, like, I feel like this feels like a game I'd like to have the option to play in handheld.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
I'm in.
I don't like playing tactical RPGs not on a handheld device. Even when I played them on PC, I played them on a laptop.
Mm.
I would play XCOM on a laptop. I just don't want to sit at a desk for hours playing those.
Fire Emblem is the only game on the Switch that I primarily played on TV. And I don't know why.
That's mad.
It just felt right there.
Okay. Bizarre. Like, that felt right there, but Breath of the Wild and Pokemon Arceus didn't feel right there.
Arceus, I barely played docked. I played it a couple times docked early on, and then I kind of switched to mostly playing handheld. Breath of the Wild, I would say I played 50-50. Whenever I was at home and I had the option to pop it in a dock, I did. But if I was anywhere and I wanted to play it, I did. I took advantage of it, right? So that game is a split. I guess Smash I also played, right? Like the stuff like that.
Smash is like
stuff.
always docked, and
Yeah.
Mario Kart's always docked. Like, and Mario Party, who's playing that handheld? That's like always in a dock.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of single player stuff, Fire Emblem's the only one where it was probably like 75 or more docked. Like I rarely played it in handheld.
Were you playing it with Sarah? Was she like involved, or what?
She was like in the room while I was playing most of the time, but it wasn't like we were playing together, you know? Like she
Okay.
got interested in Fire Emblem after I was done with it, I think. Because we only have one
Okay.
copy, and she's played my copy a hell of a lot more than I have. I played it once, she's played it like 6 times.
Wow.
You talk about completionist. She's nuts. She's playing Breath of the Wild again, and now she's like, well, I've never filled out the compendium, so I'm going to scan all the items in the game. I was like, all right.
Who's done that?
Oh my god!
She did the Korok seeds and got the golden pile of shit, and then she's like, maybe I'll do it on master mode too, just to do it. I know.
If the
What?
Switch had achievements, she wouldn't have a life. Like, it would be, I've got to platinum all of this.
Pro gamer shit, you know? She's good. She's nuts, but she's good. So, before we get off of this, I had like 2 questions I wanted to ask. So, Sierra, you said this will be your first tactical RPG. Are
Yes.
you excited by that, or is that kind of a turnoff for you? Like, are you eager to give it a go, or are you just like, well, good thing this is Digimon?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the latter. I'm just kind of like, this is my vehicle to play a new Digimon game that it looks really interesting. I am definitely trepidatious about the tactical RPG element, and I'm just gonna give it a whirl. You know, that's the thing with video games, right? Like, you shouldn't be scared of sucking because it's how we all, you know, like learn to play
Yeah.
the game and get through it, right? Like that's supposed to be the fun challenges, like being bad and then like getting better through practice.
You got to lose to
But-
win.
Yeah, but it's like I want to enjoy the Digimon game, you know? Like I want to like enjoy every moment. But I think that, you know, I'm going to play it, I'm going to get in there and it'll probably be fine.
I hope it clicks with you. It would be cool if it was like an opening for you to be like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
shit, I think I like tactical
Yeah.
RPGs now. Like, you go give like 3 houses ago or something like that.
Right, because I definitely am not closed off to Fire Emblem whatsoever.
I feel like that would be
that's-
so fun to watch you stream that. I would love to see
Okay.
you do that.
I
Yeah, but
Put
what
it-
if she
put that
picks
in
the
my back
wrong house?
pocket.
I mean, to be fair, like almost, you know, there's 3 houses and there's only one right answer, and it's Golden Deer. So most people pick the wrong house, don't you know, Steve?
Yeah. Do you know what though, Sarah? I'm glad you've got that attitude. I'm gonna give it a go, even though I don't like the genre. If only Pete had that attitude with Fire Emblem Warriors, because he's just not even
You
willing to
fucking
give it a
kidding
go for a new Fire Emblem game.
I bought Persona 5 Strikers, Steve. How dare you? I tried. I can't with that shit. Let alone on the Switch. You watched me stream that free.
Yeah, I know. It was like two frames per second, and I was like, you were, while you were playing that Hyrule Warriors demo, you were like, yeah, you know what, I could
I was
get
like, I don't know.
into
This
I
is
could
kind of
do this."
fun.
And I'm like, really? Because it's just this over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I remember by the end of it, I was like, you're right. I'm already bored.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't get those games.
I don't like Musos. I'm sorry, everybody. You know, I know it's a controversial opinion. I'm sure I'll get raked over the coals for it. You know, like when I said that
fine.
Killzone wasn't popular. But
if we can get Sierra into them on her streams, then every single time there's one of those games, we can just say, Sierra, come on the show and talk about this Muso game that none of us care about.
Somebody's gotta, right? I don't know.
Someone's gotta do the job.
Or we just, as an outlet, we're like, sorry, we don't fuck with Musos. You're done. Don't get it. Nope. Go to
Definitive stance.
you know, promusogamers.com. I don't know. Go find them. They're out there somewhere.
I want to buy that domain now.
Yeah.
Oh, good, Steve. Buy another domain
It
we'll never
redirects
use.
to FlipScreen.
Yeah, redirect to the screen.
Oh my god! All right, so and then my last question. This is for you, Steve. Will you try this? No, right?
Only if this gets like 10 out of 10. Everyone's talking about how it's the best tactical RPG of all time.
You'll play the first
That's
10
only
minutes of it
reason
and be like, I
I'll
don't like it.
pick up. Yeah, but I thought I was going to do that with Elden Ring, right? I thought I was going to do that with Metroid Dread. It could be, and I like tactical RPGs. It's got to be the right one. I played enough Fire Emblem, Pete. I played like 6 hours of that game. Like, it was enough for me to realize that I just didn't really care about it. Unfortunately,
this man just does nothing but hurt me, Sierra. Just nothing but hurt me. Anyway, speaking of things that have done nothing but hurt me, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 4. Okay?
Yeah.
And I have a whole.
You're not happy about this?
We'll see. I have a whole visual gag. All right. So if you're over on audio, okay, you're about to miss this out. But you know, for you YouTube folks, I had to wear my 76ers jersey. My team, we're in the playoffs. We're doing great. Had to rep them. But for this segment, I'm taking it off. We got the Kingdom Hearts shirt. Let's go. All right, Sora, let's do it, baby. I'm here. I'm ready to get excited. I'm ready to be hurt again, Steve. Let's go.
Cute Un's version of Simple and Clean.
So, on a scarily similar trajectory to Digimon, in honor of the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, Square Enix has shown off a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, which, okay, great. Hope it's not the same situation, but as a Kingdom Hearts fan, you got to get ready for hurt, right? That's what it's all about. That's all we know. But this is interesting for a lot of reasons, right? Way sooner than expected. It looks very different. There's a lot going on here that is pointing to, you know, a new direction in certain ways, which is interesting, potentially. I don't know. It has me cautiously optimistic at the very least. Steve, I see you making faces. What do you got for me? Come off the bench.
It's fucking weird for me. It's just like, this does not look like Kingdom Hearts. There's that like I don't know who she is, the ginger woman in the like trailer. Yeah, you know that episode of Black Mirror where they like have their social media score, and there's the lady. She looks 100% just like her, and it's like the social media lady,
Bryce Dallas Harper, right?
Yeah, it looks just like her, and I'm just like, what? Why? This is not Kingdom Hearts. But don't get me wrong, I've never played Kingdom Hearts. I don't. Maybe this is what Kingdom Hearts is, and this is what they always wanted Kingdom Hearts to be. But it couldn't be this because they had like 4 polygons back on the PS2.
I gotta say this, Sierra. Is it not weird that Sora looks like a real person? That he looks like Cloud or something? Like,
yeah, it's like from Final Fantasy VII.
He looks so human.
He literally looks like from that.
I thought so. Like this is where I was and what I was thinking when I saw that I woke up and scrolled Twitter, saw that trailer. I thought that was a goof, and I thought that was like a fan rendered image. I was like, no.
It looks like one of those things where people are like, "Oh, imagine if Mario was on Unreal Engine." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You ever see that that meme? It's like a photo of a kid. You know, he works as a Starbucks barista, but like everyone's like asking like, is this a Final Fantasy character? Because the way he appears, his skin is translucent, and he has gray, spiky hair and bright blue eyes, and he's a boy. He is a boy. TM TM TM, and and that's like what Sora looked like to me, like this like real like this weirdly like this weird crossover between like a person who should not look real and does, and
Yeah.
just like
It's
Uncanny Valley.
it's a little weird. And like I don't think it looks bad. It's just so
That's the
odd.
thing I was gonna say. It's not bad. I was kind of like, oh, but I was also like, ooh.
It's just funny because like I don't know, like I'm used to him having a somewhat cartoony look, right? And then like how real he looks juxtaposed with like the photorealistic renders of Goofy and Donald at the end speaking in Japanese. It's just like the dissonance between the two tones of this franchise I've never felt more pronounced.
Seriously, like
do you think there's like a canonical reason though? Like is he like from the real world now, and like the two worlds are collided or something like that?
I don't know. It literally could be something like that. Like Kingdom Hearts is fucking crazy. So, you know, it could easily be something like that, but it could also just
be like the art style if they've just changed it.
Yeah, it could just be that they're evolving the art style again, then it's kind of like it is what it is. But like the world that they're in, they call it the Quadratum. That looks very weird. Like the fact weird, right? I mean for Kingdom Hearts. The fact that it's like this very industrial looking, like kind of quote unquote real world setting, like in the same way that like it was weird to see New Donk City for the first time, you know, like there's skyscrapers and office buildings and cars and people walking around, and that's all very not Kingdom Hearts, right? Like the only non-Disney worlds we've ever been to in Kingdom Hearts were like Traverse Town and like, you know, the Destiny Islands, and you know, like they're smaller locations and they still feel like Kingdom Heartsy. You know, like Traverse Town feels like cartoony, you know, in its own way. So I don't know, like it's really, really, really different. I'm not opposed to that, but it's certainly weird.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone remembers from when like 3, like, you know, completing the game and like doing like seeing the post-credit stuff, but a lot of people have like made connections from a lot of the content that was in 3, like the Verum Rex game, and then those post-credit scenes made that connection to a Final Fantasy game that Nomura never, you know, like saw to fruition versus 13. And like so I'm curious to see if this like, and people were speculating like, oh, this become a vehicle for him to just do versus 13, and like, and so I'm wondering if like he's gonna take some of that stuff, like Final Fantasy type content, and just like bring that into Kingdom Hearts, which I've kind of always wanted, just to like break up the Disney stuff a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that stuff has always felt like weirdly tacked on. You know, like it feels like it's something that they could utilize more than they do. Like when you think about like the role that like the supporting Final Fantasy characters play in like the first game, like they feel very involved, and it feels like they kind of get decentralized more and more over time.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, maybe not inherently bad, but I don't know. I would love to see them take advantage of that a little bit more. So
Absolutely.
I'm with you there. I think that would be cool. There's another thing too that's kind of weird, where there's like a shot mid-trailer where they're like all of a sudden in a forest and the rest of it's in the city.
Yeah.
Very strange. Something a lot of people have pointed out is there's like a shot in the corner where it looks like you can see the foot of like an AT-AT or something from Star Wars.
It's an ATST. It's 100% an ATST foot.
There you go. So, I mean, if
so?
And the ATST is like the more chicken one. It could be. And people have been like, it's a forest moon, or not moon, but it's like a forest area. Could be Endor, right? Like that's not crazy.
I want Ewoks in this if that's the case.
Could be.
Like,
I don't know.
that's what I want.
That's a thing where, like, I don't really feel any kind of way about that. Like, I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't, that's not Disney. That's not, but it's like, I feel like they've gone to so many wacky fucking worlds already.
Mm.
Like, when they did Pirates of the Caribbean back in 2, it was like,
But that's Disney. That came
but it
from
was,
Disney.
but it's real, but it was like live action, right? Like, they were trying to take this extremely cartoony thing and put it in this live action setting, and it worked. And they did Tron. And again, it's still Disney, but like Star Wars is owned by Disney and has been for a long time now. And like Star Wars, even prior to the acquisition, right? Like they had the Star Tours ride at Disneyland and Disney World. Like it's that classic, movie magic type shit. Like I don't feel like it's going to be that. I don't feel like it would be that out of character. There's like already a mini game where you fly spaceships in Kingdom Hearts. Like how weird would it be to be like, oh yeah, like I know how to pilot a gummy ship, and then we throw they jump in a freaking
an X-wing.
Yeah, they jump in an X-wing and like go off and fuck around, and then he gets a lightsaber keyblade. Like I don't. How weird is that? How weird is that?
That fits in with the whimsy of Kingdom Hearts, I think.
Right? Like
I watched the trailer. I rewatched it to find that foot, and I could not find it. People have brilliant eyes, and fucking or I just have broken eyes. I just could not see it. I was just like, oh, what a nice forest! Like, oh, so photorealistic. Wow, Unreal Engine, let's go! Like
Unreal 5, looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I kind of had the same thing where I'm like, I don't really see this, but I looked at a screenshot and I'm like, sure, that could be.
Right, yeah.
I think the question is interesting though, of like, will they? It's like, yeah, I don't see why not, right? And like, hey, maybe have the Avengers show up in this photorealistic city. That could be cool. Why not? They went to what's that? The Big Hero 6, right?
San Francisco, Tokyo, yeah.
That's a Marvel comic. They just made it into a Disney movie. It's like,
yeah.
We're already brushing up against these other properties. We might as well just like, how many of these we made now? Come on, it's like the 10th Kingdom Hearts game. We already jumped the shark 5 of them ago. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
So 2 points on that. We had a question from one of our Patreon producers, Trendy Brandy, who said, is Star Wars World happening? And if yes, will nerds complain about it? And 2, from me, do you think this opens the doors, if this is the case, to Marvel coming into the game as well?
It could.
Becoming more of a expanded Disney universe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know that it necessarily means that, but I think it could. And in terms of like the question, is it happening? I don't know. It's too early to say. But nerds will definitely complain about it. But other nerds will be very excited about it, and that is the way of things. So personally, like I think you said it well, Sarah. Like, I'm sorry, Sierra. I feel like it's not atonal. Right? Like, I think the ways in which that Star Wars works as a property, you can see the ways that it slots into the Kingdom Hearts formula of, like, they show up, they get involved in the plot of one of the movies, we get a couple cool little Kingdom Hearts we get a Kingdom Hearts version of a Star Wars theme, and all these boxes get checked, and it'll be, I don't know, like, I think it'll be fine. I don't see any reason that it would be a problem. Personally,
weirdly, I can't see Marvel fitting into like the puzzle of Kingdom Hearts. Like, I think that'll definitely be like if they decide to toe that line for some reason. I can't visualize it, but I wouldn't be surprised because from what I've heard about the way Disney and Square work together on 3, like Disney wanted so badly to just make it a giant blaring advertisement for all of their successful properties.
I'm sure.
So,
I mean, like, I don't know. I agree with you. I think Marvel is a tougher one to see than Star Wars. I think Star Wars, like, it just makes sense to me, right? Like, I think you could easily just do the plot of A New Hope in Kingdom Hearts, and that would jive. But I also don't think that the Marvel thing is impossible, right? Because it's like, I think the thing about the Marvel universe is, like, it's so big and so malleable. So the idea that you could, like, okay, like Sora and Donald and Goofy become Avengers, or they meet Spider-Man, and okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that could work.
They could really drop them in at any point throughout Marvel lore.
I think they've established that like that just works, right? Like they did original stories with some of the IP in
Right.
3, so like they could do that too, right? Like they could have it be like, oh, this is this, because that's the thing of the Marvel universe, right? It's a multiverse, and there's like all the different. Oh, this is the universe where a member from Organization 13 showed up and created a keyhole, and it's like, oh shit, okay.
Right.
The gang's got to come through and help out,
Yeah.
That real Scooby-Doo Monster of the Week thing.
Right, just because you're all talking about all this and I have no clue, I want to ask Tyler's question to you, which is, please describe the entire story of Kingdom Hearts in 30 seconds or less, because I have no idea what Kingdom Hearts is.
That's
and where this
literally
key
impossible.
fits in.
The entire story, it's literally impossible. I can do my absolute best if you want me to try. But you gotta have a counter.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm getting up a stopwatch now.
And then you do the same thing, Sierra.
Okay.
You want me to start a timer?
No.
who's going
We'll
first? I've
we'll
got the
both try and
timer.
explain it in 30 seconds each.
Okay.
Right. Do you want to like tag team it? So you do the first 30 seconds, Pete, and then Sierra takes over
Sure.
and does like 30 more
Sure,
seconds.
we can do that.
I think that's fair. That gives you a minute total.
Yeah.
So you've got to see how far Pete gets first.
Okay. Christ. I think I can get through the first game. Okay.
You ready?
Go. Kingdom Hearts is the story of a young boy named Sora. He lives on an island called the Destiny Islands. He and his friends want to build a raft and go and explore the rest of their world. An event happens where he gets pulled through a wormhole, and he realizes that he has a magical destiny as a Keyblade master. He meets with his buddies, Donald and Goofy, who are looking for their friend King Mickey, who has gone to explore the reason for why the Kingdom Hearts keyholes are happening in worlds and creating all this darkness, and they have to find the 7 princesses, and it's more than that.
Stop.
I don't know. Okay, I'm done. I didn't even get through halfway through the first game. Well, that's most of the first game.
Oh no, you went really granular with it. I was gonna do a sweet.
Good, you should. I fucked up. I didn't even get through one game.
No,
You
but
got 30 seconds to do the other like 600
games in the franchise.
So very, very good luck with that, Sierra. Your time.
Do your
starts
best.
now.
So, the first 9 games have been about the Darkseeker saga, which is about Xehanort, who basically is on a conquest to conquer Kingdom Hearts. What happens is, they do all he like creates. He does all this shit, and he kills some guys, and he. but
5 seconds.
They defeat Xehanort, and they seal Kingdom Hearts, and they live happily ever after.
I love you hitting the 10-second mark and just going, ah! Shit, we're almost out of time.
Wow, that really truly is not enough. You know, the shortest videos you can find on the Kingdom Hearts complete plot summary are a half hour. They're 30 minutes. The shortest videos you can find.
Okay, so that's 100 times longer than you had.
There's just there's a lot of their problem, their crux was making every single Kingdom Hearts game canon. So you have them inserting like they really could. It could have been as simple as how we just described it, but the game is
They just keep adding layers
by Tetsuya Nomura, so that is unfortunately not possible. and some things, like when you really have them drilled in your, like when you really like ingest the story beats over and over, you're like, okay, I can see how this works more congruently now. All these things like Heartless and Nobodies and Organization 13 and the fact that like there are literally 2 boys that are identical for no reason, but they're different people.
Steve,
But
I remember, I feel like
so
Steve said,
much.
should I try to get into Kingdom Hearts? And I was like, no.
That was literally the response. But then you said you wanted to stream them with me, and then maybe I would be interested.
I think
'Cause you'd
that's the
actually be
move.
playing
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that you can play the games and be ignorant to the greater plot. I think if you really wanted to
could.
just have like a surface, if you really just wanted to just experience the games and not like dip your feet into like
I feel like that's
all
the
of
whole thing,
convoluted
though.
lore.
Right? Like, if you're not going to
I
get into the
know.
lore, like, what's the point? Right? Like,
I feel like that's how I would have played it as a kid. Yeah, I would just been like, oh, look, it's goofy.
You'd
that's
think
so
that,
cool."
Steve. But I was like 8 years old, and I was like, I'm very invested in what's going on. I was reading fan theories. I was like, Xehanort, what's up with this cat? Like, oh, he became a Heartless. Oh, that means he's got a nobody. Oh, there's 3 versions of him because he figured out how to friggin' time travel or whatever. Yeah. This game's insane.
Sounds like Elden Ring.
No.
Is there,
Elden Ring
lots of,
sounds like
references to fingers and things.
Elden Ring sounds like Kingdom Hearts if it was made by a sane person. Okay? Kingdom Hearts is like the fucking wackiest IP that has ever existed, and the fact that it was ever made makes no sense, and the fact that it continues to exist makes even less sense.
The fact that like Disney agreed to this. The 90s must have been a weird time.
And continues to play ball with it. It's so weird.
How much money is it making them? That's what they look at now. It's
probably a good amount, yeah.
I think that 3 did really well. I think 3 was like I can't speak towards actual figures, but from what I gather that I gather that 3 was like wildly successful.
It was in the top 10 best-selling games of 2019. Sold over 5 million on 2 consoles within the first couple. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it hit somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 to 6 million.
Wow.
Which
that's
is
good.
Not bad. No. Yeah. I don't know. I feel weird about Kingdom Hearts. I love it for sure, but I really do wonder if a new one can ever capture my heart in the way that the old ones did, but I'll keep playing them. I can't wait to play this one when I'm 40 years old. It's going to be great.
Hopefully we'll get it in like 3 years.
That would be insanely awesome.
We'll get it when the PS6 is coming out, and it'll be like...
Although, you know what, Sierra? You might be onto something, because I could see... Because you think about the timeline, right? Kingdom Hearts 1 comes out. Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out a regular amount of time afterwards. And then begins the era of weird spin-offs on like every other console besides a mainline console. And then like fucking over a decade later, we get Kingdom Hearts 3. We're about to do the same thing. Kingdom Hearts 3, then Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. Then we'll have like 10 years of weird side things. And then we'll get Kingdom Hearts 6 on the PlayStation 7.
Hopefully I don't know. Hopefully that there is some self-awareness. I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but hopefully following the press of 3, hopefully there was some self-awareness, acquired, and they're like, all right, let's cut out the bullshit. Like, we'll just, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we'll see.
Have you seen what they do with Final Fantasy 7? I can't see it happening. They've released like the first 30 minutes of the original game.
Yeah, they're gonna make 6 of them. It's gonna be great,
remake.
and it'll take me 30 years to play them all. But eventually, when I'm 50, we'll finish that saga. Anyway, this next question comes from one of our Patreon producers, Zaid, who wrote in and said, "How do you feel about Sora's new kicks in Kingdom Hearts 4, and why are they objectively better than the clown shoes he used to wear? They're not. Okay, those clown shoes are fucking iconic." Watch your mouth.
It was weird. It was so weird.
He's wearing like Air Jordans now.
Yeah.
Oh, I like his new shoes. They're cool.
I'll tell you what, though. When I was a kid, I remember the first time I saw a trailer for Kingdom Hearts, I thought that he was wearing Mickey Mouse's shoes. I was like, oh, he's got like red pants. And I was like, is he like Mickey Mouse's nephew? Like nephew? Mickey
you know 100% they're selling these shoes.
Uncle Mick. Oh my god.
Do you think it was just the shoes, or did he just have ginormous feet?
Yes.
And like he needed big old shoes.
Did you just say yes?
Jump.
Yes.
Do you think it was just the shoes, or he had giant feet? Yes.
Both. Yes.
It's like there's ones where it's just like a zip down the middle.
Yeah.
Like his feet are so big he
Zip
can't even get
shoes.
them in the top. He's got like zip the shoes around.
But
his
you don't
absolute
understand,
elephant feet.
He's
Steve.
got insane calluses on them stinkers.
Key part of any Nomura character design is too many zippers. All right, too many zippers on a Final Fantasy character's outfit is like pouches for like 90s comic book characters, where it's like, what are you putting in all these pouches, Deadpool? You got like 30 of them on your legs. What are you doing? Every X-Men character has like 18 fanny packs on their fucking thighs. That's the equivalent in this series and beyond, right? You got to have your zipper and your weird leather hoods, and it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll close it out with this series of questions from Timberwolf, who wrote in and said, what new feature would you like to see the most, the top world y'all want to see, and what potential theories do you have about the story? So I'm going to just address the last one first. I have no theories. Kingdom Hearts is impossible to predict.
I'm going to predict theory because I know nothing about the series and that I think they're in the actual real world and we're going to see a cartoon version of Sora in the game as well.
Okay, maybe so.
I could see that happen.
It does look like Shibuya to some degree, so maybe, I don't know, but we'll see. In terms of features, I think I would just like to see them cut features out, if I'm honest. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 was really, really bloated. The like, and I know they added an update. Timberwolf was actually the one who told me this. They added an update where you can like remove the like party attacks or whatever they were called. I forget, but like, I just feel like they have added so much bloat to the game and to the formula now that I would just love to see them kind of like strip things back and make it feel more akin to Kingdom Hearts 2, which I think is still the pinnacle of the series in terms of gameplay. I loved the whole like, you have the Valor form and the Mystic form and all that stuff. Like, that was a fun mechanic. And I feel like since then, there's just been like, here's the gimmick of this game. Here's the gimmick of that game. And it feels like with 3, they're just like, here's like 8 gimmicks. I don't know. Pick one. Do you like them? Do you like any of this? Is any of this sticking? It's like, scale it back. Like, scale it back and focus on making combat that's just fun to play rather than like, how frantic can we make this? How many enemies can we shove on screen? You know, like I want to see them scale it back and focus on just making it feel tight and fun to play in the way that I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake was tight and fun to play. I feel like 3 had a lot more in common with Final Fantasy 15, which is not great. What about you, Sierra? What feature would you want to see the most?
So I at the very least, I do want them. I pretty much have the same sentiment. Like the amusement park special attacks.
I hated
like
those.
at first, yeah, because they made them look so appetizing in like the trailers, like leading up to the game's release. But in action, it just felt so unwieldy and like just so. I don't know, just really loud and just like not.
It's almost like a quick time event, you know? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Just let me fight.
Right, like then you're locked into this. It's almost like a cutscene. It's so much like I guess they can be. I've seen them be helpful for combat, like and like doing massive damage. Like I've seen certain builds that some Kingdom Hearts streamers like use and stuff, but not a big fan. Feel the same way. Just like scale it back, make it like nice and not a complicated hack and slash.
Yeah, I don't feel like you need all of that on top of it. Like the core gameplay of Kingdom Hearts has always been fun. Like I like the real time RPG thing. Like of just like it's an RPG and I'm building out stats and everything, but combat's taking place in like actual physical. Press X to hit type third person stuff. Like that's novel to a degree. There aren't a lot of games that play that way. You don't need to overcomplicate it with a bunch of bullshit.
Exactly.
And then top world that you'd want to see. I feel like part of me is like, just do Star Wars just to piss off people.
They're all doing Star Wars.
Just lean in.
They are.
I know, but
the worlds I want are like deep cut Disney movies.
Like what do you got?
Atlantis and Treasure Planet.
Sierra, I love both of those movies. I was just thinking about rewatching Atlantis earlier today. I would fucking love that. That would be awesome.
I want to be Kita when I grow up.
I want a Disney Channel world where it's just all of the terrible Disney Channel movies. Where it's just like
Luck of the Irish,
President's Daughter. I want High School Musical in there. Just do it all. Just make it. Just make all those terrible Disney
I love the
Someone
idea.
made a joke about like High School Musical, like when like you go to High School Musical World, like the first shot is just sweaty Troy Bolton from like the opening scene of the third movie,
and then Sora, Donald, and Goofy just walk in.
Yeah,
I love that because I love the idea of them being in a fight, and there's that like the thing where like they'll always call out other people's names like when they're giving them a heal or whatever, and it's just Goofy just like Troy. And all of his attack, he's singing at the Heartless.
yeah. I think it'd be so funny if they did the Pixar movie Luca, but they literally just go to Italy. And they become Italian. I don't know.
You could do Ratatouille as well and just head to Paris.
Oh,
they could just do like a European tour around.
If Steve's theory's right and they're in the real world, that'll make sense. You got to go to all the Disney properties that are set in actual Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Although I guess a lot of the ones we went to are, right? Like Toy Story takes place on Earth.
Oh, God, right. Yeah.
They do Monsters
That's
Inc.
true.
because that's my favorite.
Monsters
Pixar
Inc. was in
movie.
the last one, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was Monsters Inc. World was so good.
That's one of the
It was
best
so
ones
good.
for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, like some of the more recent Pixar stuff would be cool. I feel like doing like, you know, like you called out Luca. I really enjoyed Luca. Turning Red was really good. It would
Brave,
be cool to
go
see them.
Scotland.
Sorry?
Brave, they could go to Scotland.
Sure.
Ah.
Yeah, and like that would be cool too because it's like a swords and sorcery kind of thing. It's like more fantastical setting, which is something they haven't really done a lot of. It would be cool to see them go back and do some like classics, like some old movies that didn't get the treatment in the first round. You know, like some of the like.
Did they ever do like Steamboat Willie, like the?
There is,
Yeah.
that one,
Okay,
that
that's cool.
world rules. That's one of the best ones too. And like there's like a black and white Sora and everything, and
That's awesome.
it's really cool. There's like one of the battles is like literally like there's a cartoon about like a fire, and like you play through that. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many options, right? Like, but I am thinking of like deep cut stuff or new Pixar feels like the stuff that would be the most interesting to do. It's like there's not a lot of like, I don't know, like from the like classic like Disney animated stuff, like there's not that much from the newer era that hasn't been done. I guess Princess and the Frog, but
Oh, I love that movie so
just go to New Orleans. It's another
Yeah,
real we're just going to
real
a city.
place.
But like, I mean, that'd be sick, right? Like again, Kingdom Hearts music slaps. That movie is all like Dixieland jazz. Like, I love that. That'd be cool. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know Olympus is going to be coming back. 'Cause, you know who was in the trailer.
You know, we got to go back to Hercules for the I don't know 17. It's like literally in every single game for some reason. I think Nomura just really likes Hercules.
He loves
That's
it.
my theory.
So I was looking at a list of Disney movies since 2010, and there's one that stands out to me, which is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which was released with Disney, and they should absolutely cross over with Ubisoft.
The Prince of Persia. Who could forget the
Prince of
seminal
Persia.
Disney classic, The Prince of Persia? Disney Prince. Yeah.
If they branched into like TV shows, Kim Possible would be amazing.
Oh my god, yes, I love Kim.
Yeah.
That would be
That
good.
like sound from her like phone, that beep beep
Doot,
beep,
doot,
whatever, it would, like.
Oh yeah. That would
Summon
be cool.
Ron Stoppable.
And Lilo and Stitch. I always like Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah,
There
we
you go,
never did
Hawaii.
Lilo and Stitch. He was
They just have Stitch as the summon.
Yeah, I was he was a
Right.
summon, but and it's interesting. I feel like some of the summons we have gone to their worlds, right?
Yeah,
Because Simba was a
Little
summon
Mermaid.
before Lion King.
Right.
in 2. Stitch would be a good one.
Yeah.
But again, this is just Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii.
It's just Hawaii with
Maybe
aliens.
that's just what they do. It's just flights around the world, and it's just we're just traveling around the place and having a great time.
I'll be all right
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. Yeah, your final answer, Lilo and Stitch. Let's do it. Let's do it, everybody. Okay? All right. So thank you to everybody who wrote in for this week's episode. Sierra, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Great talks.
You'll
2
have to do it
things I
again
love
soon.
Very much. Yeah. Would love to do that sometime.
Oh my God. Also, I forgot. We talked about your tour. We didn't plug your band. Plug your band before you plug the rest of your stuff.
I'm in a band called With Sales Ahead. If you like noodly doodads on the guitar, mathy stuff like that, like breakdowns and singing and screaming and stuff like that, doing a real good job of selling. Yeah, check us out. We're home for now working on a record, but we play out in the tri-state area in the US a lot, hopefully going back on tour this fall.
Check them out.
Thanks.
And then where can they get the rest of your stuff?
I am on Twitch. I stream on Twitch 3 nights a week as sierraplusultra. I'm also on Twitter. I'm on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok.
Sierra Plus Ultra everywhere. So go follow Sierra's stuff. We'll have links down in the description below. Sierra, thank you again for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. And if you want to get our stuff, FlipScreen.games. That's the link. You can find links to all the places that we are all over the web right there. Go show your support however you choose to. We appreciate you. And we'll catch you next week for another episode of the FlipScreen Games Podcast. Take it easy, everybody.